arrangements by Preoccupations. 7 songs, 38 minutes long. John, you want to take this one away?
Yeah, so Preoccupations are really nice post-punk band that we reviewed one of my absolute favorite records we've ever done on this podcast, New Material by them in 2018. Uh, Absolutely fantastic record. One of my favorite rock records we've ever reviewed on Audioface. I still listen to it a lot, especially like the last ending tracks of Doubt and Compliance. Compliance, one of those songs that just I will listen to all the time. Um, and I didn't hear anything from them for a while, and then they came out with the Ricochet as their first single, and we reviewed that, and I was like, okay, it's a decent single. Let's kind of see how it fits into the record because I was worried that I was like, oh, it's a decent track, but now in the context of a record, I actually really like it. I think this is the year of me really diving into singles, but in the context of records, it really makes sense of why they sound the way they do. Because I've gotten just countless singles that have done that to me. Ricochet is another one. But anyways, going to start the album, yeah, Fixed Bayonets, which is a really nice like upbeat track just to like throw you right into the record, and you're like, yeah, this sounds like Preoccupations. Like they have a very distinctive sound with the way their guitars are. The vocalist has a very distinctive sound and everything, and it gets you just like sucked right into the record of it, where it's fast paced, it's fun, but it's still fresh in that way, which is good for a group that's been together for a long time, making music for a long time, in a genre that is oversaturated and hasn't had too many new ideas in a while. Ricochet again, really like that track a lot now, and go into the full listen of the record. And then Death of Melodies, where I've started to really enjoy this record a bit more, where it slows it down a little bit, but I love the way that they play with guitars throughout the whole record. So, like comparing it to New Material was very like spacey sounding, like very like euphoric and ethereal rock in a way. And I'm glad that they didn't keep that sound, because if they just made that sound of a second record, it'd just be like, oh, this is just like a continuation, and it's not. Arrangements is now a little bit more heavy hitting, a little bit harder, but it still has like their tried and true sounds of the way the guitars sound, the vocals are, the production of it, fantastic. And with this, it's a little bit quicker, but it's still fresh, which is good. What do you think of it? Before I get more
Yeah,
into it.
I so yeah, Preoccupations is definitely, there's some songs from Preoccupations, especially in New Material. This especially for me the beginning of the album, Decompose, Disarray,
Disarray
Antidote,
Bar,
songs that I really go back to a lot. But I with this record, I on my first listen kind of actually didn't like it as much. I sort of thought it was like paced weirdly. On my second listen, I liked it a lot more, and I kind of figured out what I didn't like about it. I feel
which
like in the middle, it takes kind of a daring, kind of post punk path that I don't necessarily like with it, because I kind of agree with you with the first 3 songs. Fixed Bayonets, Ricochet, Death of Melody kind of really are Preoccupations at their best and in a newer kind of form. I think Slowly almost takes it down, almost, pun intended, like too slowly, so to speak.
yeah.
Um, it's it's weird because it's kind of technically a fast song. It has like the drums that happen in the
Mhm.
background that go like kind of really quickly, but I almost feel like it's a little too shoegazy, like a little bit too sleepy for that kind of middle part of the album. Like I almost would have moved it down to the end,
Yep.
because you have Advisor afterwards, which has this long build up, and it's definitely worth it. I really like the latter half of that album. It's really good. It's beautiful. It's some of their best work. But I think to really get someone onto that record, I would have put Advisor like song number 4, really, because
Yeah.
having that kind of leading into it, both times I listened to it, I was like, why do I feel like I'm spacing out, but like kind of not in a good way? Like sort of like in a losing interest in the album way, not in a I'm enjoying the ambient music and like kind of listening to what
Mhm.
I'm like kind of doing it kind of way. And so like I know Preoccupations is better than that, and I think it could have just been like a song placement kind of thing. Or maybe just like not having the song on there, because like like I remember Advisor definitely won me back with the second half,
Mhm.
and with the whole song buildup. I really am into that song. I'm like, okay, you won me back, but like, whoa, what happened there in the middle with me?
Yeah, that's why I stopped at Death of the Melody because I have the same exact uh, opinion where I really don't like the placement of Slowly. I wish they had placed it at tracks like maybe track 6, like put Advisor, Recalibrate, then Slowly, and then Turn Up the Grass. That would have that would have like been way smoother for an ending of it because I really like the first 3 tracks. Slowly just was out of place. Advisor is a beautiful track. I was like, damn, this is really them at their best. And that's why I was loving the sound where to me, like they slowed it down on that track and they had that beautiful build up, like something similar to like Compliance on New Material. But again, it's a different sound. It's not like that ethereal sound that you got on there, but they're still playing with some
Compliance
of the
by
same
Muse, you mean, right?
tunes. So what?
Compliance by Muse.
No, no, Compliance by on New Material.
Oh,
Like it's
sorry.
last track on New Material. Yeah. Or it's similar to
Sorry,
that
I'm
sound.
so musiced out, dude.
Yeah, you and me both. Um, and then it ends really well with Recalibrate and Tearing Up the Grass because I love those tracks for to end it up. Tearing Up the Grass, especially I listened to that on repeat a couple times after after my second listen through of the record, just because I love the way it goes. So I think overall it's a good record. I wish like either you had a different track other than Slowly, or you moved it that placement, or you even made the album maybe 1 or 2 songs longer to and then some of the songs shorter to give you a little bit more ideas because there was a lot of ideas and stuff in here that I wanted a little bit more of. Like Advisor, there's a couple of sounds and things I heard. I was like, oh, I kind of want to hear that more. Like there's an idea there that I hear, but it's not completely developed. And even Tearing Up the Grass too is like, hey, there's a couple sounds, a couple ideas here that I would love to hear as a full track or really thought out completely instead of like maybe 30, 40 seconds of a snippet of something and then it changes up. So they're still good. They're still really making great music. I think for rock, especially in 2022, it's a good record. And I'm glad that they pace it differently than New Material. I'm glad that they changed it up for it. There's just a couple little things here and there that would have knocked this album out of the park, but it's a solid record, and I do enjoy it.
Yeah, it's like, more in some places, less than others. And
Mhm, yeah,
you will have a really, really solid album on your hands.
yeah,
Um, it's just like those refinements there that, really kind of messed up. I really think, I think swapping Slowly and Recalibrate would have been the move, honestly. And it's a
yeah.
really kind of severe thing because 38 minutes, 7 songs, very much the economy of music right there. We probably would have called that a drop in earlier parts of Audioface. I think you could definitely call this an album. It has complete completion, it has cohesion, but Slowly makes it feel like a collection of songs because it just throws it off so much in the middle. I think by having it as the penultimate song, it would have been better off as a project. But overall, I think this is good quality, and yeah, it was a good thing. I'm glad we covered it in the podcast.
You and me both.
Arbitrary scale. I mean, I was just like, I'm glad we covered it on the podcast like we chose to. It's like, oh, I mean, like, also there is a lot of stuff that came out this week, and we may be able to catch up to it. We may not be able to. In addition to, I honestly thought that Gorillaz was gonna drop this fall. They're actually dropping next year with another backtrack and a Bad Bunny song.
Ooh.
So at least I don't have to do that bonus episode, but I think in its place we'll have to do like a music recommendations catch up on things we've missed and other stuff we recommend from this year because I mean it's kind of criminal to not do a couple more before you even get to court packing. It's been a year. Um anyways, arbitrary scale, British monarchs. I'm gonna give this Aeltred the Unready.
Ooh, interesting. It's a good one. This is Henry VI, the one that lost the Hundred Years' War.
Ugh. Um I think I read something about Eltred the Unready being he killed his brother Edward the Martyr.
Mm.
Dude, this fucking England, man. Just
England's
like
wild, dude. It's just popping off.
find God. Anyways, and not the Anglican one either.